We're here to bring a new type of news show.
New insights, new styles, and new topics every day.
We are News Generation.
Bringing news just for you. It's Friday, January 30th here in Seoul. I'm Isujin, and this is News Generation. Joining us today is Moonju.
Happy Friday!
Happy Friday! And also Wonbin's with us.
Good morning, Sujin.
Good morning. Both are here to speak on behalf of people in their 20s and 30s. So as we wrap up the week, it's worth looking back at the tools shaping how we work, and AI clearly stands out. Its rapid development is already transforming workplaces, and now robots are being increasingly deployed and also in production lines. So can you tell us more about this, Moonjin? What are your thoughts on the continued automation of tasks that were once solely carried out by humans?
Recently in CES 2026, Hyundai Motor Company has announced a plan of deploying Atlas, a physical AI robot, to production lines in the near future. This is likely the point where employees and employers' positions clash the most these days. The company must maximize the productivity and margins, which is kind of very obvious, and goals that robots can support over the very long term. While the labor union must protect workers' livelihoods, the company should propose a reasonable middle ground, I think. For example, robots could be phased in sequentially rather than all at once, giving employees time to adjust, or the company could offer alternative roles for those workers and retraining opportunities, I think. Yeah.
Right. So to add on to what you said, Hyundai Motor Group's humanoid robot Atlas is set to be fully deployed at its facility in Georgia starting in 2028. So while the company says this is a necessary step towards future automation, the labor unit has strongly pushed back and just yesterday released a statement raising concerns about potential job losses in the future. So the dispute highlights growing tensions between automation ambitions and also worker concerns. So what are your thoughts on this one, Min?
Well, although people are having mixed opinions about this depending on which boat they're on, I personally think this shift is inevitable. It's not a matter of if it happens, it's a matter of when it happens. Like Moonju said, there must be appropriate negotiations for it now during the transition phase, but I feel like the era of physical AI is inevitable and it will come at some point. And I feel like I'm really living in the future, and it seems like the scenes from sci-fi movies are really becoming close to reality. And for us, robotics has been a rising technology since we were kids during the 2000s. And we could see cool robots in photos or news, in science magazines as well. But it always seemed very far away from reality or any practical implementation.
Right.
So it's really cool to see robotics technology and being combined with AI technology in 2026. And because everyone is talking about AI, robotics, physical AI combined, it was also quite relieving, and it really gave me a big sense of pride that one of Korea's biggest companies showcased their robotics technology in the CES 2026.
So I'm glad you highlight the positives of this, but also this is a really big issue because actually recently, like Senator Bernie Sanders was on, he's a US Senator, he was on this really popular podcast called Theo Von Podcast, and he talked about how the US is really prepared for pretty much any military invasion, but they're not prepared for the effect AI will have on job losses. So this is a very serious issue, and there's a lot to talk about. So, but first, let's take a look at the screen. As AI continues to advance, the way individuals and companies use this technology is evolving just as quickly. With some jobs already being replaced, the job market itself is undergoing a rapid transformation, with many people actively seeking careers they believe are safer from automation. Today on News Generation, we take a closer look at how real this sense of crisis truly is, which jobs are most likely to survive in the AI era, and what kind of preparation is needed for job seekers as the workplace continues to change at an unprecedented speed. As we just saw in the video, AI is no longer a distant or abstract threat, with many respondents believing that it will eventually replace them at their jobs. So this sense of crisis seems to be felt most strongly by younger workers. So would you say that it's true? And why are younger workers especially feeling the brunt of the anxiety about being replaced by AI?
Yeah, I think it is definitely true. A recent survey found that 48%, about 48% actually, of respondents believe that AI will actually replace their jobs. Temporary workers, low-wage laborers had a higher concern along with those in their 20s. The proportion of 20s replied that their jobs might be replaced was higher compared to other age groups, as you can see from our screen here. 58% of 20s responded that they do believe AI will take over their occupations. This is approximately 15 percentage points higher than people in their 50s, which 43% of whom answered yes to the same question. And in fact, Workplace Capture 119 has addressed that the AI is acting not as an abstract threat, but as a factor raising barriers to entering occupations and increasing employment insecurity.
I see. So that concern seems to be rooted in real changes on the ground, especially as AI adoption accelerates across industries. And this anxiety reflects what's already happening in the job market. So can you explain how AI adoption is affecting junior hiring, which industries are already seeing workers replaced by AI, Wonbin?
Yeah, certainly. So the junior position is where we can see the biggest adoption of AI quickly. Compared to senior or management level positions, junior position hirings are already decreasing. This is due to the fact that their tasks are the most suitable for AIs to replace now. And to give some examples, we have marketing content, service call receptions, translations, music productions, and even video editing. And personally, I did try the AI tools for video editing. And once you get the basic setup done, which can take a little bit of time at the beginning, but once it's set up, it can chop down videos in minutes, if not seconds. These used to take hours if it was done by human. It's like comparing a human lumberjack to a heavy-duty machine that cuts wood. And these are mainly tasks that are often manual or even repetitive that has a very specific goal. So for now, the numbers are only showing in these fields or fields similar, but the effect of AI adoption is expected to expand exponentially to other fields as well.
So what we're seeing is that this isn't just a future concern. AI is already reshaping entry-level hiring and replacing workers in specific industries. And we wanted to hear directly from our viewers. So we asked them on the IDI News YouTube channel, do you think AI will replace the work you currently do? So here's what the results showed. 40% of respondents said they believe it will happen in the near future. Another 31% said AI could eventually replace them at their work, but only over time. Meanwhile, 29% said they do not believe AI will replace them in what they do. So these results show that concern about AI replacing jobs is truly widespread, with the majority of people expecting it to affect their work at some point. But this concern isn't limited to traditionally vulnerable jobs. So even roles once seen as quote-unquote safe from automation, such as high-paying professional jobs, are now also being questioned. So is this true that even so-called elite professions are no longer really safe from AI, Moonju?
Unfortunately, I think I have to say yes to this question. Recently, analysis by the Bank of Korea and other major economic institutions warned that the AI's job penetration is not only limited to simple repetitive tasks, but to the high-paid professional roles may be even more vulnerable as AI's capacity for large-scale data processing begins to outstrip human analytical ability. A large portion of professional work could be displaced. This risk extends to Korea's most popular professions, including doctors. In the U.S. state of Utah, regulators recently approved the first platform allowing AI to autonomously prescribe medications, spawning what some call an AI doctor. In one emergency case study, prescriptions from the AI and human physicians matched 99% of the time. I was so surprised.
It's a quite high accuracy.
It's very high. I was so surprised.
But I have asked ChatGPT about if I was feeling sick or something. I have asked them for feedback.
Oh, really?
And I feel like it was quite accurate. So
Yeah, it gets the job done.
It does. So all this suggests AI isn't just replacing routine tasks. It's beginning to challenge the core expertise of professional roles as well. And this doesn't just stop with doctors. So how is AI already changing hiring and work practices in other professions that typically require years of training?
Yes, so like you just said, it seems like professions that require years of studying and training are being replaced as well. For the viewers in Korea, we have a term called 사자. It means job sectors that are virtually irreplaceable and guaranteed to have a secure income, secure high income throughout their career. This includes lawyers, accountants, CTAs, doctors, like Moon just said, and other similar professions. Recently, law firms have decreased the number of hiring for new junior lawyers because of AI. It's much cheaper and efficient and quicker for them to make a lawyer AI and train that lawyer AI. And this lawyer AI, again, can read and analyze legal documents and write one too when they are told to do so. And in Korea, the top 10 law firms decreased their hirings by 23% in the past 3 years, which is exactly when AI tools began to rise above the surface. The top 4 accounting firms also decreased their hirings by 30% for the exact same reason.
I mean, this is quite shocking because usually you mentioned 사자, like in Korea, those jobs are considered very, good as well.
Very secure.
Very secure, but I guess it's not anymore. So to get an expert's take on the changing job market, especially in the professional field, we're going to talk to a law school professor. And that conversation will take place right after the break, so don't go anywhere.
NewsGen wants to hear from you. Go to YouTube and search out Channel Arirang News. Click Posts and cast your vote in the poll. Make a new type of news with us.
Joining us today is Lee Hyun, a law professor and dean of Handong International Law School. So hello, professor. Thank you so much for connecting with us today.
Hey, thanks for having me on the program.
So what are the ways that the legal profession is currently being affected by AI?
Well, if you look at sort of the overall employment rates as you reported, especially in Korea, the hiring rates have gone down for entry-level lawyers. And part of that is because when lawyers work, and we're thinking about AI, we're talking about large language models. And lawyers are essentially working with words, right? They're drafting contracts, they're drafting legal briefs that are going to be submitted to courts. So as a result, when you're dealing with research and writing, because AI can do it very efficiently, I think if you've experienced that in terms of your daily life, it's true also for lawyers that they can actually use these tools to save time. And because law firms and corporations are interested in increasing their profits, and one of the greatest costs for any business are the employees, especially entry level. The use of AI can really speed up work and lessen the amount of resources needed really for these kinds of jobs. But overall, the legal profession is very risk adverse. So actually, when it comes to adopting this technology like AI, like full force, they're going to take their time in terms of how this actually will work in the workplace, because there's lots of liabilities if you get it wrong, right? Because AI doesn't get it right all the time. And because it hallucinates, and it can hallucinate badly, there's a lot of risk there when you're dealing with clients who have lots of sensitive legal issues that can cost millions and billions of dollars. And so lawyers don't want to get in trouble with the courts, but also with their clients if they make a mistake. So human judgment still is going to be very important. So I think in that regard, it's going to take a while for AI to truly sort of transform the legal industry.
Yeah, I see, and I do agree that legal parts is always important. And as a professor, do you see AI influencing the career path of the law school students, such as in the types of skills that firms now expect of them?
Oh, absolutely, because of this pressure from companies and business to lower costs, they're going to expect law students and then law school graduates now to be able to deploy these tools, right? So if you're, when I was in law school, we didn't have these tools when we were studying law. So when it comes to now, when it comes to our students in this generation, they have access to all these tools. Now, the key thing, of course, is how to use these tools effectively in a responsible way. But law firms are clearly going to expect junior associates to be able to use them in a way that's going to save the law firm time and money. So here, what you're seeing is many law schools are trying to adapt to this technology by including it in their legal education programs. That's true for our law school as well here, that we're anticipating that lots of businesses and corporations, law firms are going to really expect students to know, and without receiving training on the job, to use these technologies in a way that's going to be effective, efficient, and accurate. And so I think that's the challenge for lots of law schools like ours here in Pohang, that basically students will have to then adjust to these environments, and law schools will have to train them in a way that's appropriate, responsible, and to be effective in the legal profession.
Thank you so much for your insights, professors. Now, last question to you is, what practical advice would you give to young people preparing to enter the legal profession in the age and the era of AI?
Well, this is a question that we are grappling with here at our law school. So when it comes to incoming students, we're really thinking about how do students engage in legal study. And one of the important things is for lawyers is to think like a lawyer, write like a lawyer, speak like a lawyer, and analyze. And if you use these tools too prematurely, then students won't be able to really get the skills that they need. For instance, if you're teaching mathematics and you give someone a calculator right away, they may be able to use the tool in such a way to get the right answer, but they don't know the underlying principles behind mathematics to be able to use the tools effectively later when the problems get more complicated. And that's true for legal study as well. If you don't know how to do the foundational skills of reading, writing, and analyzing law, and you use AI too much, then you're not going to get the skills necessary to be an effective lawyer later. And so my advice really to anyone who's thinking about going into the legal profession and engaging in the study of law is you need to do the hard work first. There are no shortcuts when it comes to law study. So a lot of it will be on your own without the assistance of any technology like AI, because you have to use your own brain and brain power to be able to muster the legal analysis necessary to really engage legal problems in an effective way. And then later on, when you are proficient, then you can use the AI and make judgments about whether the AI is doing a good job or not, and then using it in a way that can be used in your own work in the future. But you can't use on AI early on, because you will really stunt your legal academic growth if you use it too early.
Right, and I think your advice about and your point about how learning how to apply your knowledge is really applicable in pretty much any field these days too.
Absolutely. So I think the foundational skills are necessary to establish that base, and then you can use tools like AI really effectively when you do your regular work. But right, the foundation is absolutely necessary to set by yourself without the use of these technologies.
All right, thank you so much for sharing your insight with us today, Professor.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me.
So we just spoke with a legal expert about how AI is already affecting the legal industry, from law firms hiring to the career paths of law school students, and even how the younger generation should prepare for the AI era. So that naturally leads us to a bigger question. So in the age of AI, Minju, what kind of jobs are less likely to be replaced by AI?
As interest grows in jobs like AI can't easily replace, MZs are increasingly drawn to blue-collar work, which is very surprising compared to past that they were really into white-collar works. In 2025 job search results, production work ranked second, a 27% rise year-on-year, and searches for skilled trades like heavy equipment operation, welding, and sawing machine operator roles also increased. And the reason behind this is just AI needs to be much more refined and better prepared in both software and hardware when you go to these kind of job things. Yeah.
You're right. It's quite surprising, but it also makes sense that people are turning to more skill-based work. So
Yeah.
beyond technical skills, are there other jobs that AI might find hard to replace?
Yeah, certainly. Jobs that require, excuse me, jobs that require human connection are also considered to be on the safer side for now. For example, teachers or therapists. So any job that requires empathy, emotional connection, and human bonding are being considered as the final ground that will be very difficult to be replaced by AI.
Right. I think human connection is very valuable, especially in this era. So given how fast the job market is changing, I'm sure a lot of people that are watching who are applying for jobs will be curious, what kind of preparations then do young people need to make?
You know, I mean, it is what it is now if you're living the AI era. So
Right.
I think it's very important to get used to AI and just kind of know how to utilize those skills. I think it's always better to start as you can and just learn about it.
Right. So beyond learning how to use AI, which is also important, what do you think will ultimately determine who will survive in this new era?
So it's expected that only the top 10% of every industry will survive, and even thrive by leveraging AI. So it's crucial to build and develop a skill set that will make you unique. And the important part, it may sound like a bit of a pressure, but you have to become irreplaceable in order to compete with AI.
So specialization and deep expertise matters more than ever in this era. So to close off our discussion today, Munju, are there any professions do you personally believe should, still have humans involved?
Yeah, as just one been mentioned earlier, I think therapists or consultants, just because, I think human empathies and human emotions are kind of more, should be more focused in those kind of work. So I think consultants and therapists definitely.
I think those are good fields to have people involved.
Yeah.
What about you? What's your
Similar
thoughts?
opinion. I believe that teachers should remain as human beings as well, because personally, as a teacher, and we've all been students before, having the relationship between a student and a teacher during the process of learning will be very difficult to be replaced by AI, especially emotionally and in terms of the bonding that you gain. So for me, and I believe that teachers should be, I have a lot to say about this as a teacher myself, but in short,
Right.
I think teachers should stay as human.
So AI is no longer a future possibility. It's already reshaping how we work, hire, and also plan our careers. So while some jobs may disappear, others are emerging that value skills AI cannot easily replace. And in this rapidly changing landscape, the challenge is not to compete with AI, but to learn how to work alongside it. So how well we prepare today may ultimately determine who thrives in the job market of tomorrow. And that brings us to the end of today's episode of News Generation. When News Gen will be back on Monday at 10:30 a.m. Korea time with more stories and discussions. Big thanks to Munju.
Thanks for having me today.
Thanks for coming in. Also, Wonbin.
Always a pleasure, Sujin.
And to our viewers, thank you so much for joining us, and we hope you have the best day. We are
News Generation.